The bridge of the Vexthari dreadnought was cold and dark. Big screens showed star maps and battle information. Admiral Cross sat in his tall chair and looked at the reports coming from his commanders. He did not smile. He did not show any feeling. But inside, his mind was thinking about how easy this next battle would be. For 200 years, the Vexthari Empire had moved across space like a wave of water. One by one, they took over new worlds. One by one, civilizations fell before them. Some fought with big guns and fast ships. Some tried to hide. Nothing worked. The Vexthari were simply too strong, too smart, and too organized. And Admiral Cross was the best commander in the whole empire. Cross was 7 feet tall, with dark blue skin that looked like it was made of metal. His eyes were large and black like space itself. He had fought in 117 battles. He had never lost a single one. Every one. The other commanders in his fleet would do whatever he said. His soldiers would walk into fire without thinking if he ordered them to do it. Earth was different from the other worlds. Earth had many people. Earth had good technology. But Cross had seen the reports. The Earth people called themselves humans. They had been fighting among themselves for thousands of years. They were weak and divided. The Vexthari would take Earth in less than 1 week. Now, on this day, a small human ship was coming to the big space station that floated between the two forces. The humans wanted to talk before fighting. Cross thought this was funny. He gave the order to let them come. He wanted to hear what these humans would say before he destroyed them all. Colonel Teo came down from the human ship with 2 other people. Teo was not tall, maybe 6 feet only. His skin was light brown, and his hair was black. He had many lines on his face from the sun and from worry. He had fought in many wars in his own world. He had killed many soldiers. But he was just a man. Just a human. He was nothing compared to the power that stood before him. Major G1 stood next to Teo. She was young, maybe 30 years old. Her face was sharp and smart. Her eyes moved around the room, looking at everything. She was looking for ways to fight, even now, in this peaceful moment. She was looking for ways that humans could win. This made Cross laugh inside. These humans were like ants looking at a mountain and thinking they could climb it. Dr. Hail came with them too. Hail was older, with gray in his hair. He carried a small computer and many papers. He was not a fighter. He was a thinker. He looked at numbers and information. He tried to understand how wars worked through math and facts. Cross had no respect for people who only looked at papers. The 3 humans stood in the big meeting room. Cross sat high above them in his chair, so they had to look up. This was how he liked it. This showed who had the power. "I am Admiral Cross of the Vexthari Empire," he said in his deep voice. "Earth will join my empire. You have 3 choices. You can fight us and die. You can run away and we will chase you and kill you. Or you can give up now, and maybe some of your people will live as our workers." He paused. He wanted them to understand that they had no good choices. Colonel Teo did not look scared. This was strange to Cross. All the other leaders he had met showed fear. They understood how small they were. But this human just looked calm, like he knew something that Cross did not know. "Admiral Cross," Teo said with respect in his voice, "I came here to talk about something important. I came here because Earth does not want to fight. Earth does not want death. We came to ask you about war." He stopped and looked right at Cross. "We want to know about your skill. We want to know about your kill ratio. How many enemies do your soldiers destroy?" Cross was surprised by the question. But he liked it. This was about power. This was about strength. He sat up in his chair and spoke with pride. "My soldiers are the best soldiers in all the universe," Cross said. His voice was like thunder. "In every fight, every single soldier kills an average of 47 enemies. 47. This is the highest number in the galaxy. No other empire has soldiers this good. This is why we will always win. This is why your Earth will fall to us in days. He waited for the humans to show fear. He waited for them to understand that they had no chance. But again, Colonel Teo did not look scared. Instead, he looked at Major G1, and G1 looked at Dr. Hail. And then, Teo turned back to Cross with a small smile on his face. "Admiral," Teo said, and his voice was very calm and very clear. "That is a very impressive number. 47 enemies per soldier. That is really very good." He paused for just a moment. "When you say your soldiers get 47 kills, do you mean per engagement? Or do you mean per minute?" The room became quiet. It became so quiet that Cross could hear the machines that kept the space station working. The other Vexthari officers on the bridge stopped what they were doing. They looked at each other with confusion. Cross's face did not move. But inside, something changed in his mind. He had not thought about that. He had not measured his soldiers per minute. He measured them per battle, per engagement. He measured them over the whole time of the fight, from start to finish. When you put 47 kills over an average battle time of 18 minutes, that was less than 3 kills per minute. Nobody had ever asked him this question before. "Per engagement," Cross said slowly. "Of course, per engagement. What other way would you measure?" But he already knew that something was wrong. He could see it on the face of Colonel Teo. He could see it on the face of Major G1. They had something. They had information that changed everything. "I see," Teo said with a small nod. "I see. Well, Admiral, that makes things very clear indeed. Maybe we should talk more about what Earth can really do. Maybe we should talk about what humans can really do. Because I think, when you understand the real numbers, when you understand what we can truly do every single minute, not every battle, I think you will want to have a very different conversation with us." Cross felt something he had never felt before in his long life as a warrior. He felt something like doubt. He felt something like worry. "Show me," he said. "Show me these numbers." And that was when everything changed. That was when the Vexathari Empire discovered the truth about humanity. That was when one simple question changed the fate of 2 entire civilizations. Captain Min-Su worked in a small office deep inside the military headquarters on Earth. The walls were gray. The lights were bright and made him squint. He had been working for 3 days, without sleeping. His coffee was cold. His food was uneaten. But he did not care about these things. He only cared about the numbers. On his screens, data scrolled down very fast. He had computers working for him, digging through thousands of military records. He was looking for one thing. He was looking for the truth about human soldiers. He was looking for what humans could really do in combat. Min-Su was not a fighter like Colonel Teo. He was a scientist. He studied information. He looked at data and found patterns. He understood numbers better than he understood people. When General Teo had asked him to find the real kill ratio of human soldiers, Min-Su knew exactly what to do. 3 days later, Min-Su had the answer. He walked into the war room where the most important generals and leaders of Earth were meeting. They were all sitting around a big table. Colonel Teo was there. Major G1 was there. Dr. Hail was there too. They were all looking very serious. They all looked very worried. "I have the information," Min-Su said. He was tired and his voice was quiet. But everyone listened. He put a small device on the table. This device made pictures on the wall. The pictures showed graphs and numbers and information. Red lines went up very high. Blue lines went up even higher. "I looked at every combat operation of Earth Marines for the last 20 years, Min-Su said. "I looked at training exercises. I looked at real battles. I looked at everything. I counted every kill. I counted every second of time. I measured everything." He pointed to the highest graph on the wall. The 7th Rangers Unit, led by Captain Nari, has the best record. In one training exercise, they killed 371 enemies in 4 minutes. That is about 92 kills per minute. Minsu stopped and looked at everyone. He could see their eyes getting bigger. But that is just one exercise. I also looked at their average. Their average across all operations is 234 kills per minute. The room became very loud. Everyone started talking at the same time. They were shocked. They could not believe the number. Major G1 stood up from her chair. 234 per minute? Are you sure? Trine. I am sure, Minsu said. But wait. There is more information. He showed the next graph. This graph compared the Vex Thari numbers with the human numbers. Admiral Cross said his soldiers get 47 kills per engagement. His engagements are about 18 minutes long on average. That means his soldiers kill approximately 2.6 enemies per minute. Humans kill 234 per minute. That is 90 times better. 90 times. Dr. Hale took off his glasses and rubbed his eyes. These numbers are based on real data? He asked. All real data. Minsu said. I checked it 3 times. I had other computers check it. The data is real. Humans are 90 times better at killing than Vex Thari soldiers. Colonel Teo was very quiet. He was thinking. Then he started to smile. It was a small smile. But it was a smile. It was the smile of a man who suddenly understood that he had a chance. It was the smile of a man who realized that his world would not die. What about other human military units? He asked. Is the 7th Rangers the best? No, Minsu said. The 7th Rangers is the best trained. But I looked at regular Marines too. Regular soldiers with regular training. They average 56 kills per minute. That is still 20 times better than the Vex Thari. The room became very quiet again. We need to tell Admiral Cross, Major G1 said. We need to show him these numbers. But Dr. Hale shook his head. Just showing numbers will not be enough. Numbers on paper mean nothing. The Admiral needs to see the truth. He needs to see humans fighting. He needs to see what we can really do. Over the next day, Minsu prepared a big presentation. He made graphs and videos. He showed footage of human soldiers training. He showed footage of capture missions from 10 years ago. He showed everything that proved humans were much better at fighting than the Vex Thari. Colonel Teo sent a message to Admiral Cross. The message said they wanted to show him something very important. The message said that maybe Earth and the Vex Thari should talk before they fight. Cross agreed to see the presentation. On a secure computer connection, with Cross watching from his dreadnought in space, Minsu showed all the data. He showed all the graphs. He explained all the numbers in a way that even an alien could understand. Fighting was fighting. Numbers were numbers. Kills were kills. Regardless of what world you came from, the math was the same. Cross watched everything. He said nothing. But Minsu could see something was happening in the Admiral's mind. The Admiral's face was very still. His eyes were very dark, but something inside him was changing. When Minsu finished, there was a long silence. Then Admiral Cross asked a question. Can you verify this data? Can you show me that these numbers are true? Yes, Colonel Teo said through the connection. We will show you exactly what humans can do. We will show you a live demonstration of human soldiers in combat. Then you will see the truth. Cross thought about this for a long time. Finally, he nodded. I will come to Earth, Cross said. I will see this demonstration. If these numbers are true, then I need to understand how this is possible. If these numbers are true, then everything I thought I knew about war is wrong. After the connection ended, Minsu sat in his office again. He looked at all his data. He looked at all his graphs. He had spent 3 days finding the truth. He had spent 1 day showing the truth. And that truth had stopped a war. That truth had saved Earth from destruction. He closed his eyes. For the first time, in 3 days, he slept. The lunar base was very far from Earth. It took 3 days to get there by ship. Admiral Cross came down from his dreadnought, with only a small guard. He wanted to see the truth with his own eyes. He wanted to understand how humans could be so good at fighting. Colonel Teo met him at the landing area. The base was built inside a large mountain. The mountain protected the soldiers from radiation and from weapons in space. Inside the mountain, there were training rooms, weapons storage, sleeping areas, and medical rooms. Everything was organized and clean. Everything was built for war. "Welcome to the lunar training facility," Teo said. He was being very polite to the Admiral, but his voice was strong. "Today you will see what Earth Marines can do." Captain Nari was waiting in the main training room. She was tall for a human, nearly 6 feet. She had short black hair and very sharp eyes. She had trained the 7th Rangers for 5 years. She had made them into the deadliest soldiers in human space. "Admiral Cross," Nari said, and gave a military salute. "I am Captain Nari. My soldiers will show you today what we can do. I think you will find it very interesting." Cross said nothing. He sat in a high observation area, where he could see everything below. Dr. Hale stood next to him and began to explain what would happen. "We will do a simulation exercise. The targets below are holograms. They look like Vex Thari soldiers. They will shoot back with harmless light weapons. Your soldiers' weapons cannot hurt humans, but human weapons can hurt the holograms. Everything you see today is real training that our soldiers do every single day." Below, on the training floor, Sergeant Kuhan stood with his team. There were 4 soldiers in his team. Each one had a weapon and protective gear. They looked calm and ready. They had done this exercise 100 times before. "Begin simulation," Captain Nari said into a communication device. The holograms appeared. They looked exactly like Vex Thari soldiers. They moved like real soldiers. They shot at the humans with hologram weapons. The exercise began. What happened next shocked Admiral Cross. The human soldiers moved faster than anything he had ever seen. They did not waste any movement. Every step was exact. Every shot was perfect. Kuhan moved to the left while another soldier moved to the right. They communicated with hand signals and small nods. They did not need words. Their minds thought as one mind. A hologram soldier appeared from behind a wall. Kuhan saw it from the side of his eyes before even looking at it. He did not turn his body. He just pointed his weapon and fired. The hologram disappeared. All of this took about 1 second, maybe less. The team moved through the training area like water flowing around rocks. They split up and came together. They covered each other without speaking. One soldier fell to one knee to fire from below, while another stood above to fire from above. They created a pattern that was impossible to stop. In 43 seconds, it was finished. All the hologram soldiers were gone. The human team was still standing. Nobody on the human team was hurt. "Simulation ended," Captain Nari said. 192. Target kills in 43 seconds. That is 447 kills per minute for this team. Cross did not move. His dark eyes watched everything. His large hands gripped the arms of his chair. "Again," he said. They did the exercise again. This time, more holograms appeared. More targets. More difficult movements. And the results were the same. The humans moved, like death itself. They killed with perfect accuracy and perfect speed. After the 3rd simulation, Cross stood up and walked down to the training floor. The human soldiers stood at attention. Cross walked around them, looking at their faces, their weapons, their equipment. "Why are you so fast?" he asked Kuhan. Kuhan was brave. He answered honestly. "We evolved on a world with big predators. Sir, our ancestors had to be fast, or they died. We had to think fast, or we died. This is in our blood. This is in our brains. It is not a choice. It is what we are. Your weapons are better, Cross said. It was not a question. No, sir, Captain Nari answered. Our weapons are actually older than yours. But our soldiers know exactly how to use them. We train for years and years. We train until it is part of our body. We train until thinking is not needed. We just do. Dr. Hayil walked over. He held up a simple device. A human soldier can see an enemy, identify a threat, choose a weapon, aim, and fire, all in less than 1 second. Your soldiers are stronger and larger. But they take 3 seconds to do the same thing. Strength does not matter when speed is 90 times better. Why has nobody ever told me this? Cross asked. His voice was very quiet and very angry. Because, Colonel Teo said, we have never fought the Vex Thari before. We did not know if these numbers were true against your soldiers. We have only fought each other. Humans fighting humans. We knew we were fast. We did not know we were this much faster than everyone else. Cross walked back to the observation area. He sat down again. He was quiet for a very long time. Show me your best soldier, he finally said. They brought Master Sergeant Gi-jun. He was older than the younger soldiers, maybe 45 years old. He had fought in 43 combat operations. He had earned more medals than anyone in the room. His hands were strong, and his eyes were cold. He had the look of a killer. Sergeant Gi-jun, Captain Nari said, can you show the Admiral what perfect accuracy looks like? They set up a new simulation, this time with 20 targets appearing in random order. They set a timer. When the timer started, the targets began to appear. Gi-jun moved through the simulation like a machine. Left, right, up, down. Each target appeared for only a fraction of a second. Each target died in exactly the moment it appeared. 20 kills in 12 seconds. 1,000 kills per minute in that moment. When it ended, Gi-jun was breathing heavily, but he was smiling. This was what he loved. This was what humans were made for. Admiral Cross stood without speaking. He watched Gi-jun for a long time. I need to think, Cross finally said. I need to understand this. I thought we came to conquer an inferior world. Now I see that we came to attack the most dangerous soldiers in the entire galaxy. Colonel Teo nodded. Yes, Admiral. You understand now. So the question is, what do we do now? Do we fight? Or do we talk about something else? Something better. Cross looked at the human soldiers. He looked at their strong faces. He looked at their confidence. He looked at warriors that he finally understood he could not defeat. We will talk, he said. Let us go and talk about what Earth wants from the Vex Thari Empire. The big meeting room on the lunar base had become a place of peace instead of a place of war. Admiral Cross sat on one side of a long table. Colonel Teo sat on the other side. Between them were papers and screens showing information. Between them were also new ideas about the future. I have sent a message to the leadership of the Vex's Thari Empire, Cross said. His voice was formal and careful. I have told them about the humans. I have shown them the videos. I have shown them the data. They do not believe me. They think I am wrong. Colonel Teo listened without speaking. They have ordered me to attack Earth anyway, Cross continued. They say that numbers on screens mean nothing. They say that only a real battle will show the truth. They have ordered me to begin the invasion in 7 days. Redder. The room became very quiet. What will you do? Teo asked. Cross stood up and walked to the window. Through the window, he could see Earth in space. It looked so small and so blue. He had come to conquer this world. He had come to add it to the Vex Thari Empire. But now he understood something different. Now he understood that conquering Earth would cost him everything. I will not follow their orders, Cross said. I will make a choice that is different. I will tell the Empire that Earth is too strong to fight. I will tell them that we should make peace instead of war. Teo stood up too. He walked next to Cross and looked at Earth. That is brave, Teo said. That will be hard for your people to understand. Yes, Cross said. But I am an admiral. I have won 117 battles. I have the respect of my soldiers, and many in the Empire. They will listen to me. They will hear me when I say that attacking Earth would be a mistake. Over the next 3 days, Cross and Teo worked together. They created a plan. They created an agreement. They created words that both humans and Vexithari could accept. The plan was this. Earth would not join the Vexithari Empire as a conquered world. Instead, Earth and the Vexithari would become partners. Humans would train Vexithari soldiers. Humans would help make the Vexithari army stronger and faster. In exchange, the Vexithari would give humans technology and access to space. The two civilizations would help each other instead of destroying each other. This is good, Major G1 said when she heard the plan. This means humans will become valuable. The Vexithari will need us. They will need our soldiers. They will need our knowledge. Rasis. End quote. Yes, Teo said. But we must be very careful. We must make sure that humans do not become slaves again. We must make sure that the Vexithari treat us with respect. Dr. Hale checked all the words in the agreement. He made sure that every sentence was clear. He made sure that every promise was real. He added words that would protect humans if something went wrong. On the 4th day, Admiral Cross sent a message to the leadership of the Vexithari Empire. The message said many things. The message said that attacking Earth would be too expensive. It would cost too many Vexithari soldiers. It would take too much time. It would not be worth the money or the lives. The message also said something else. The message said that Earth had something that the Vexithari needed. Earth had soldiers that were the best in the universe. Earth could make the Vexithari stronger. Earth could help the Vexithari conquer other empires that were also strong. The Empire waited for 3 days. Then the answer came back. The Empire agreed. The Empire agreed to make a partnership with Earth instead of attacking. When the agreement was official, Colonel Teo held a celebration for all the soldiers and leaders who had worked on this. There was food and music. There was happiness. For the first time in weeks, people could smile without worry. Captain Minsu came to the celebration. Someone gave him a medal for his work, finding the correct numbers. Minsu did not feel like a hero. He had just done his job. He had just looked at data. But everyone called him a hero anyway. Master Sergeant Gijun was also at the celebration. Other soldiers came to him and asked questions about the future. Would he teach Vexithari soldiers how to fight? Would he go to alien worlds? Edo, would he see space? I do not know, Gijun told them. But I know that the future is different now. The future is not death. The future is something new. Captain Nari talked with Admiral Cross about what would happen next. Cross said that he wanted to start training Vexithari soldiers immediately. He said that the Empire wanted the best results possible. He wanted humans to teach his soldiers everything they knew. This will take time, Nari told him. Humans and Vexithari are very different. Your soldiers are strong, but they do not think the same way we think. Teaching them to fight like humans will not be easy. I understand, Cross said. But I am willing to try. And I believe my soldiers are willing to try also. On the last day before Admiral Cross had to return to his dreadnought, he had a private conversation with Colonel Teo. They stood on a balcony looking at space. Thank you, Cross said. Thank you for asking me about the kill ratio per minute. Thank you for showing me the truth. Thank you for not attacking me when you had the chance. You are welcome, Teo said. You are brave enough to change your mind. You are brave enough to see the truth. Not everyone is like that. Not every leader would do what you did. What happens now? Cross asked. Now we build something new, Teo said. Now humans and Vexthari work together. Now, we show the universe what is possible when two different peoples choose peace instead of war. As the ship carried Admiral Cross back to the sky, he thought about the future. He thought about human soldiers training his army. He thought about the Vexthari Empire becoming stronger. He thought about wars that would be won more easily. But most of all, he thought about how one simple question had changed everything. He thought about how asking per minute instead of per engagement had saved millions of lives. He thought about how curiosity and honesty and bravery could be more powerful than any weapon. The future had changed, and it had all started with words. 1 year had passed since Admiral Cross saw the human soldiers on the lunar base. 1 year had passed since he decided to make peace instead of war. In that 1 year, everything had changed for both civilizations. Captain Nari stood on the bridge of a Vexthari battlecruiser. The ship was called the Star Render. It was one of the fastest ships in the entire fleet. Now, on this ship, humans and Vexthari worked together. Some humans wore Vexthari uniforms. Some Vexthari sat next to humans at control stations. They were learning to work as one team. Nari was training a group of Vexthari soldiers. These soldiers came from different parts of the Empire. They had never seen humans before. They had heard stories. Some stories were scary. Some stories were amazing. Now they would learn the truth. Master Sergeant Gi-jun was the main teacher. He stood in front of a group of 30 Vexthari soldiers. They were all much taller than him. They were all much stronger than him. But when they looked at Gi-jun, they saw danger. They saw a warrior who had killed hundreds. They saw someone who could teach them to be better. Fighting is not about being strong, Gi-jun told them, in a voice that was clear and loud. Fighting is about being smart and fast and organized. A weak animal that thinks fast can kill a strong animal that thinks slow. You have the strength. Now you need to learn the speed and the thinking. For the next hour, Gi-jun showed them basic human fighting techniques. He showed them how to move without wasting energy. He showed them how to communicate with hand signals. He showed them how their team could move like one person instead of 30 separate people. The Vexthari soldiers tried to learn. Some of them were fast learners. Some of them were slow. Some of them understood immediately. Some of them needed more practice. But all of them worked hard. All of them wanted to become like the humans. By the end of the training, the Vexthari soldiers had improved. They were not perfect. They were not like human soldiers yet. But they were better. They were faster. They understood teamwork. When the training ended, one Vexthari soldier came to Gi-jun and asked a question. "Will we ever be as good as human soldiers?" the Vexthari asked. Gi-jun thought about this question for a moment. "Probably not," Gi-jun said. "Humans have been training for this kind of fighting for thousands of years. Your species is new to this. But you can become very good. You can become good enough to win. And maybe, in 100 years, or 1,000 years, your people will be just as good as mine." Back on Earth, in the military headquarters, Captain Minsu was working on a new project. He was creating a computer program that could teach Vexthari soldiers. The program would show them videos. The program would measure their speed. The program would help them understand what they were doing wrong. This will help them learn faster, Minsu told the other scientists. Instead of waiting for a human trainer to come, they can practice anytime. They can practice alone. They can practice with other Vexthari. The program was finished in 3 months. It was sent to every Vexthari military base in the Empire. Thousands of Vexthari soldiers started using it. They started learning human fighting techniques. Slowly, the entire Vexthari military was changing. Colonel Teo was now a general. He had an office in the highest building on Earth. He looked at reports from all the different military bases. The reports showed that the plan was working. In the first 6 months, the average Vexthari soldier improved from 2.6 kills per minute to 8.5 kills per minute. That was more than a 300% improvement. In 6 more months, they improved to 16 kills per minute. They were not as good as humans yet, but they were getting better and better. Major G1 was now Colonel G1. She was in charge of training new human instructors. These instructors would go to different parts of the galaxy. They would teach Vex Thari soldiers everywhere. They would spread the knowledge of human fighting. We are creating an army that is stronger than the Vex Thari alone, G1 told her soldiers. We are creating an army that is human and Vex's Thari together. When we work as one, we are unstoppable. Then something unexpected happened. Other empires in the galaxy heard about the humans. They heard that human soldiers were the best. They heard that humans could teach any army to be better, and they wanted to hire human instructors too. Within 6 months, Earth received messages from 12 different space empires. Some of these empires were friends of the Vex Thari. Some of them were enemies. All of them wanted human soldiers or human teachers. General Teo called a meeting with the leaders of Earth. We have choices, he told them. We can sell our military knowledge to other empires. We can become very rich. We can become very powerful. But we must be careful. We must not sell our knowledge to people who will use it to start wars. We must not sell our knowledge to evil people. The leaders of Earth made a decision. They would sell their knowledge. They would send human instructors to other empires. But they would check first. They would make sure the buyers were not evil. They would make sure the buyers would use this knowledge for protection, not for attacking innocent people. In 1 year, Earth became one of the most important places in the galaxy. Not because of weapons, not because of technology, but because of human soldiers. Because of human knowledge. Because of human skill. Admiral Cross visited Earth again. This time, he brought his daughter, a young Vex Thari named Karen. Karen had trained under human instructors. She had learned human fighting techniques. She was now twice as good a fighter as her father had been. I wanted to show my daughter where her teachers came from, Cross told General Teo. I wanted to show her the world that changed the Vex Thari Empire. Teo took them to the lunar base. He showed them the training areas. He showed them the videos of the demonstrations that had changed everything. Without humans, Cross said to his daughter, the Vex Thari would still be the same. We would still be powerful, but we would not be growing. We would not be learning. We would not be changing. Humans taught us that strength without knowledge is not enough. Humans taught us that speed and thinking are just as important as power. That night, at a dinner with many human military leaders, Admiral Cross stood up and made a speech. 1 year ago, I came to this world as a conqueror, he said. I thought I was superior. I thought humans were weak. I was wrong. I was very wrong. Humans are not weak. Humans are the smartest soldiers in the entire universe. And I am thankful that this human named Teo asked me about kill ratios per minute. Because that one question saved both our civilizations. That one question gave us the chance to be friends instead of enemies. Everyone in the room stood up and cheered. Human and Vex Thari stood together and cheered.